I never thought I'd be the woman crying alone in her own house, surrounded by the ghosts of what could have been. But here I am, staring at the nursery I painted with my own hands, now filled with someone else's dreams, me sister-in-law's to be exact. My name is Emily, I'm 32, and I've been married to my husband, Mark, for 6 years. We've been through hell and back, but nothing prepared me for the betrayal I felt when he gave away our baby's room without even asking me. Let me rewind. 2 years ago, Mark and I were over the moon, expecting our first child, a little girl we named Lily. I spent months decorating her nursery. Pale pink walls, a crib with a mobile of tiny stars, and a rocking chair where I imagined singing her to sleep. But at 34 weeks, I went into premature labor. Lily didn't make it. The grief was a tidal wave, drowning me in ways I can't even describe. Mark grieved too, but he coped by throwing himself into work, while I clung to that nursery. It was my sanctuary, my way of keeping Lily close. I'd sit there, touching her tiny clothes, imagining her laugh. It was sacred. Fast forward to 3 months ago. Mark's younger sister, Sarah, 25, showed up at our doorstep, 6 months pregnant and in tears. Her boyfriend had bailed, leaving her with no job, no savings, and nowhere to go. Mark, being the big brother, insisted we take her in. I agreed, family helps family, right? But I had one condition. The nursery stays untouched. It's not just a room, it's Lily's. Mark promised me it would be off limits. I trusted him. For a while things were okay. Sarah slept on the pull-out couch in the living room, and I tried to be supportive. I'd make her tea, listen to her vent about her ex, even drive her to doctor's appointments. But I started noticing things. Sarah would linger near the nursery door, peeking inside when she thought I wasn't looking. Once, I caught her holding one of Lily's blankets and my heart stopped. "Please don't touch her things," I said, trying to keep my voice steady. She apologized, but there was this look in her eyes like she thought I was being unreasonable. Then 2 weeks ago, I came home from work early and found the nursery changed. The pink walls were still there, but Lily's crib was pushed into a corner. Sarah's clothes were in the closet, her ultrasound pictures taped to the mirror. A new rocking chair, her rocking chair, was in the spot where mine used to be. I felt like someone had ripped my heart out and stomped on it. I stormed into the living room, where Mark and Sarah were laughing over some TV show, and I lost it. "What the hell is this?" I screamed, pointing at the nursery. Mark's face fell, and Sarah looked like a deer in headlights. Mark admitted he'd let Sarah move into the nursery. "She needs a proper room, Em," he said. "She's pregnant, and the couch isn't good for her back." I didn't think it'd be a big deal. Not a big deal. I was shaking, tears streaming down my face. "That's Lily's room. You promised." Sarah chimed in, saying she didn't mean to upset me, that she just needed space for her baby. I couldn't even look at her. I felt betrayed by both of them, Mark for breaking his promise, Sarah for crossing a line she knew was there. I slept in the guest room that night, unable to face Mark. The next morning he tried to apologize, but it felt hollow. "You're holding on to the past," he said. "Lily's gone, Em. We can't keep that room like a shrine forever." His words cut deeper than anything. A shrine? That room was all I had left of her. I told him I needed space and started staying with my best friend, Claire, while I figured out what to do. Reddit, AITA for being furious? Was I overreacting by leaving? The comments poured in and I read every one. Some called me selfish for hoarding a room while a pregnant woman slept on a couch. Others said Mark was the asshole for not discussing it with me first. A few suggested therapy, which I'd already been doing since losing Lily. But one comment stuck with me. "There's more to this. Talk to Sarah alone." I didn't want to, but something about it nagged at me. So I did. Here's the twist I didn't see coming. I asked Sarah to meet me at a coffee shop, just the two of us. She looked nervous, fidgeting with her cup, but she started talking. Turns out, Mark hadn't just let her move into the nursery he'd insisted. Sarah told me she'd been fine on the couch, but Mark kept saying the nursery was just sitting there, and that I needed to move on. She said she felt awful taking the room but didn't know how to say no to Mark, who'd been her rock since their parents died years ago. She even admitted she'd tried to put Lily's things back where they belonged, but Mark told her to leave them in the corner. I was stunned. My husband, the man I thought understood my grief, was the one pushing this. I went home that night and confronted Mark. At first he doubled down, saying he was just trying to help Sarah, and that I was being obsessive about the nursery. But when I told him what Sarah said, he broke. He started crying, something I hadn't seen since Lily's funeral. He confessed he'd been struggling with his own grief, feeling like the nursery was a constant reminder of our loss. He thought giving it to Sarah would help us both heal, but he knew he'd screwed up by not talking to me. He said he felt trapped between helping his sister and protecting me, and he chose wrong. I was still angry, but seeing him so raw made me pause. We talked for hours, really talked for the first time in months. He admitted he'd been avoiding his feelings about Lily, while I'd been drowning in mine. We both agreed to go to couples therapy to work through this. As for Sarah, she moved back to the couch voluntarily, apologizing over and over. She even offered to help me repaint the nursery, but I wasn't ready for that yet. Here's the update. It's been a month since that confrontation, and things are complicated but better. Mark and I are in therapy, and it's helping us communicate again. Sarah's still living with us, but we've set clearer boundaries. I let her use the guest room where I'd been sleeping, and we're turning the basement into a small space for her and the baby when it arrives. The nursery is mine again, but I've started to think about what moving forward means. Not forgetting Lily, but maybe finding a way to honor her without clinging to pain. The biggest surprise came last week. Sarah asked if she could name her baby Lily, as a way to honor my daughter. At first I hated the idea, it felt like stealing her name. But then I thought about it. Lily's name deserves to live on, to bring joy instead of sorrow. I told Sarah yes, but only if we could talk about my Lily sometime so her memory stays alive. Sarah cried and hugged me, and for the first time I felt like we were family, not rivals. ITA for how I reacted. Maybe. I was so wrapped up in my grief that I didn't see Mark's or Sarah's struggles. But they were wrong too. Mark for making decisions behind my back, Sarah for not speaking up sooner. Grief is messy, and so is family. We're not perfect, but we're trying. And maybe that's enough for now.